Hello YouTube, today at powerjackrepair.org I got a Republic of Gamers G733q. This is what's the brand of this laptop? ROG Strix. ROG Strix, probably an Asus or an MSI. Probably an MSI. I'll probably need to figure out what brand it is. Asus, no, it's an Asus. Okay, so it's an Asus. So this kind of gaming laptops is pretty much bread and butter of this operation in the year 2024 because this is the most powerful power supply there is. Well, there are a few more powerful than that. And what happens is the inside of the plug right here becomes oxidated, and sometimes if you shine a light inside you can see an orangey yellowish hue in there, and that orangey yellowish hue is what doesn't let the, let's see, that orangey yellowish hue, let me take a look. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, the camera was changing focus. Anyways, here. Well, on this plug, I can definitely see there were burr marks on a circle right here inside. And that circle is probably the oxidation. There's a black oxidation. I'm not sure if the camera gonna pick it up. Probably it won't because it's on a different, the focus has changed. All right, come on, stabilize. So the first thing to do when you have this kind of laptop is to file the inside of the barrel with the, I will show it to you, it's downstairs, it's not in the studio. Basically put a file in there and just file the inside so that the connection would be much more solid. Once this oxidation covers up the inside of the plug, people start to wiggle it back and forth, and the connector right here basically becomes loose. On that connector, there's only 2 metal springs that sits like that. So when you rotate them around, they get oxidated on the outer edge, and once they get oxidated, they stop conducting. And they are spring mechanism. So when you put the connector in, it's supposed to, the outside of the plug supposed to connect with that spring, but the inside of the barrel has oxidation on the inside, and the spring right here doesn't go through the oxidation, and you lose the contact. So pretty much, if your connector went bad on the laptop, you'll probably need a new power supply as well. Maybe not in this particular case because I can pretty much file the inside and it's gonna be all right. But for most of the other cases that I see here, usually you need a new power supply or at least a new tip. So let's take this guy apart and see what we can do. But again, this is the most common problem with this particular laptop. All right, the screw sizes are different. Those are the long screws right here. All right, long, short. All right, so we got 4 short ones, basically 3 short ones here, and one with this strange looking tip going in right there. All right. The reason I show you those videos, some people just want to save money, which is totally fine. I try to save money on everything possible. In terms of life became expensive nowadays. So you can send us just the motherboard. It's going to be cheaper if you send us the whole laptop. So either or works for me, makes no difference to me whatsoever. Now, in the studio is missing a lot of stuff that I moved downstairs. I found it. A spreader for the casing. So basically just put it in between. It's a plastic. It doesn't damage plastic anywhere. It's around. And the casing is pretty much separated. Now it seems like there are LED lights here on the bottom, so there should be a couple of cables on the inside. So when you separate the casing, don't pull it off all the way because the cables are going to be there. They're attached to the motherboard. So careful when you take this laptop apart. Otherwise, you might tear off the cables from the motherboard, and those are usually not fixable. All right. Come on. Doesn't want to bulge. Like that, like that. Okay. Again, don't pull on it yet. Lift it up slightly. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're gonna put it like that. You see this cable right here and that cable right there are connected. You need to... So, all right, another thing that we fix a lot are those battery connectors here. In order to disconnect the battery, what you need to do is you need to move this silver lever upwards. And then what you need to do is you need to pull this guy upwards like that. If you're not gonna pull the metal lever this way, you're gonna break this connector and you're gonna send it to us for the repair. To repair this guy, what we usually do is we have to solder the battery cables directly to the motherboard because you rip off everything from the motherboard when you disconnect this guy. The usual price for this kind of repair is like 80 bucks or so, assuming how bad you ripped it off. So another thing that we capitalize on. Anyways, here what we're gonna do is this is the reverse hinge. We're gonna just unlock it here, move the cable this way. This is the second cable that we're gonna unlock here. All right, and that's how you take the cover off. Carefully, all right? Now let's disconnect the speakers here. All right, I'll set them aside. Another speaker here. Set it aside. Disconnect whatever that cable is. Disconnect whatever this cable is. Disconnect the hinges are basically this way, like that, and disconnect this guy. By the way, on the portable device, you can zoom in and out of the video. All right, so here we probably need to remove this memory chip. All right, we're gonna remove the memory chip in order to get to this cable. All right, disconnect this cable. We're gonna disconnect the fan, and we're gonna disconnect this fan. All right, I don't want to break the connection, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use both tools basically to disconnect the cables. Try not to scratch the motherboard in any way, shape or form. Make sure it's all like up in the air. Like that. Like that. Okay, good job. All right. Let's disconnect the VGA cable, the LCD cable. Here, LCD, VGA, LCD, you know, if you're old like me, it's all the same. VGA, LCD. Right, I wanna mark this one as 1. This one is 2. Okay. I want them to be sitting in the same right screwdriver. Here's the right screwdriver. This guy right here. You lift it up and you remove it at about like 30 degrees, not 45, but 30. All right, don't miss the screws. Don't confuse the screws. With any other screws, lift it up at about 30 degrees. Let's say 30 to 25. Right here we're gonna disconnect this guy as well. Move this out of the way. Let's disconnect the LAN card, wireless card. Let's disconnect that. And here we're gonna have the white right there, black right here, and they marked as W and B. All right, set that aside. Here we have a white and we have a black. They also marked white, black, gray, and blue. All right, so you want to set those guys all the way out of here. All right. Good job. By the way, if you're gonna break this connection, what we can do is you can disconnect this cable here and send us motherboard with this cable here, and we're gonna solder the cable directly to the motherboard. So that's a good design right here. Basically, you can remove this guy this way and send us the cable and the board, and we're gonna solder it directly. All right. Now let's see. All right, so 2 screws right here. All right, so those are smaller screws, those are longer screws. Here is another long screw. All right, so we got 3 longer screws here, 3 longer screws here. You can set this guy out this way, and you have to clean that guy too. Let's see, now this one is relatively, I will clean both of them using the hot, not the hot compressed air. Right, everything here is pretty much clean. I don't see many issues here. I'm gonna clean it right now because no, it's pretty much clean. Yeah, it looks like a brand new laptop here. Even though it's like 3 years old or so. All right. Yeah, good job here. All right. Now here, this guy is here. I wonder if there are any screws underneath the memory. No, there is no screws underneath the memory. You're gonna put the memory back in. There are 2 screws here. Alright, we're gonna set them right here, another screw right here. We're gonna set it right there. And we got smaller screw here. Another smaller screw right there. The design is good that the fans are not built into the heat sinks. This is a really good design. Now it seems to me that a screw here is holding everything down. All right. So that was the only screw that held everything down. And that's how we remove the motherboard. Now, the thing is that you're not going to be able to desolder anything here because this is a huge heatsink. It's going to dissipate the heat like crazy. You can try hot air, you can try different soldering irons. It's not gonna, this connector not gonna come off because doesn't matter how bad you heat up the motherboard, this heatsink gonna dissipate the heat pretty well. Now let's take the heatsink off anyway because all right, this one probably has a special heatsink compound that always, how would I say it, fails for one simple reason. I will show you in a second. Let's see. Does it have a special compound or it doesn't? Let's see. Yeah, it failed right there, you see? You see the burr mark right here, and you see the burr mark right there. Seems like what's called the liquid paste, not the liquid paste, liquid ice. It skips my mind what it's called, but I have it here. But I do not put this on my client's laptops because you see how all of the cooler, I mean, this is just regular paste right here, all right? It's fine. This guy burnt the CPU right here, and it burned the place in the heatsink right there. So, and this is all factory. So the goal is to remove all of that liquid, whatever you call it, I forget the name, but liquid metal it's called, liquid metal. Is it liquid metal? I have to Google it. Or I have to find the tube with this stuff. So you see how it's all liquidy, right? But the thing is, it just leaks all over the place, and it doesn't make the contact exactly where it needs to make a contact. It just basically just flows away from the hottest area to the sides, like it did on this laptop. So using it with this sort of paste will eventually burn down the CPU, because you could see the burning already here. And a few more years, and I'm sure this would be all. You see how all of the liquid metal moved to the side, like right there, away from where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be here in the middle. And you could see already the CPU already has a burn mark. There's nothing I can do about it. The crystal itself has a burn mark. So you are much better off just with the regular paste, because the regular paste gonna cool off the entire CPU, nothing like here. All right, so here. So you got the point, right? Let's see. So when people email me and say, can you put this stuff on? I can, but I don't want to, simply because this is, you see, like it's right where it's damaged already. It's already has a burn mark in it. If you can clean it with the Kimtech wipes. All right. Well, not bad. If anybody knows of a way to clean it better, let me know. My guess is to put some alcohol on top of this and that, but I don't know. Here. Yeah, but this is what I see every single time I open one of those laptops, right? This is exactly what I see. I see a burned CPU. Here we're just gonna put a new paste here anyway, so I'm just gonna remove this stuff. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now this paste, I also got that paste to repaste this stuff, but what if you don't touch this and that, you should be fine when you put it all back in. I mean, yeah, it's possible to put the new silicone here, new silicone pads, but I don't see a reason when this whole thing gonna still, it's all secondary, it's not really a primary. I'm sure CPU and GPU is the most important stuff here. All right, so let's work on the connector. The connector, as you can see, is just fine here, and it's just fine here. It's just loose on the inside right there. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna desolder this guy from the motherboard, and we're gonna install a brand new connector in. In order to desolder this guy, I need to insulate the area. And it's gonna be a lot of heat here, so I'm gonna just put a regular foil on top. There is the 3M foil that I could use, but I'm afraid for the nearby components, that are gonna come off during the high heat, because again, this in order to desolder this connector is gonna take all the heat it can get, because the board gonna dissipate the heat like crazy. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some leaded base solder on the top here. I'm gonna add some leaded base solder on the bottom here once I insulate everything, and then use hot air just to drop it off. I can pretty much tell you there is no way to remove it without the hot air station. You could use it. You can use an infrared station, but that might damage your eyes. I have it, but I don't use it because I'm not certain 100% in the glasses that's supposed to protect against infrared rays, because those glasses made in China, and I don't know if anybody tested. Like most of the glasses that's supposed to protect from UVA rays, UVA, they don't really protect against any rays, and nobody cares, you know. But so when it comes to infrared desoldering, you could, but you might end up without being without eyes. So I don't use that station pretty much ever, simply because I don't have the glasses for infrared protection. Right, so let's put some foil on top here. It's gonna take me some time to insulate this area, and then we're gonna switch to the soldering station, and I will show you how to remove it. Alrighty, check. All right, this microphone is working. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna power up the light so you could see everything better. We're gonna add some flux. All right, once we added some flux, we're gonna add some leaded base solder, not silver base solder, leaded base solder. It's more toxic. I mean, it is toxic, but that's what's gonna let us desolder everything without damaging the motherboard in any way, shape, or form. And nothing happening because the board just takes all the heat out. So we're gonna use the hot air to keep the motherboard warm, about 350 degrees Celsius. All right, let's keep the board nice and warm. All right, when the board is nice and warm, the silver base solder penetrates and mixes with this. Well, the leaded base solder penetrates and mixes well with the silver base solder and drops the melting temperature a few hundred degrees, I think. Maybe 100 degrees. Maybe not. Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Fahrenheit probably. All right, so here. Let's mix it like that, like that, like that. No? Doesn't want to go? You see, because it didn't penetrate all the way, you can use the station as long as you want, nothing gonna happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat up the top of the connector. All right. We're gonna heat up the top of the connector and we're gonna heat up the headset solder on the top here. All right. We keep heating up the connector. Adding the solder to the top. All right. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna bring the temperature all the way up, and instead of frying everything, we're just gonna drop this guy off. And it doesn't want to go. All right, so for that I need to take the hot air gun off. Um, all right, like that. Just like that, simple, huh? Yeah, right. If you don't do it every single day, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna be able to do it properly. Alrighty. Let's fire up the hot air up to 350 again. No, 350. 350. Come on. Alright. Alrighty, so I added more flux. And nothing. Nothing at all. So come on. I ask everyone to text me instead of calling because I have to record the video, but people usually don't read anymore anything. So that's the reason I'm telling it to you on the video. Please just text instead of calling if you have any questions. But I mean, everything is right here. I mean, I don't hide anything, show everything the way. Yeah. So as you can see, the grounds don't want to get desoldered properly. So in order for me to desolder the grounds properly, what I want to do is let's add the solder to the ground. Oh, wow. Let's add the solder to the grounds. Solder here. All right, and solder here. Once we added the solder to the grounds, because ground is pretty much the whole board, all right? So, and that's the reason why it doesn't wanna. All right, and then we just boost up the temperature. We're gonna cut the wick a little bit. Let's see if it's gonna work right now. Come on, all the way. Nope, still nothing. Can get the solder through. Let's try one more time. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. All right, so we fill it up with solder. Those are the grounds, all right? Then we're gonna boost up the temperature even more. Position everything right here. Let's see if we can desolder it. Excellent. Good job. Put down the hot air. Let's take a look on the microscope. What we got here. All right. Not sure if those guys are desoldered all the way or not. Probably not. Nope. But this is all the way. This is all the way. That's all the way. And those guys are all the way. Let's work on those two a little bit more. Let's fill them up with solder. All right. Alrighty. A good job here. And good job there. You see, all nice and clean. Now we have to go find an exactly the same connector and install it. This is how the connector looks like. And we have to go find it and install it. Alrighty, found this exactly the same connector. As you can see on this connector, brand new. The spring, the metal spring right there, you see it springing out. On this one, you can't see the spring springing out. Let me adjust the focus right there, you see? You see the little bump on the spring? And here a little bump on the spring, and there is no bump on this guy, and no bump anywhere here. Do you see what I'm saying, or do you don't? you do want to see. All right, so right there, you see this spring? You see this bump? This is what conducts 220 watts through. Once this bump gets oxidated, or once this bump and this bump right here, so this and that. On this one, the bump is already nowhere near to be found. So yeah, let's put this guy in, and everything's gonna be nice and solid. So here. Alrighty. You see, it sits perfectly fine in the connector. I mean, in the slot for the connector. All right, so here, like that, and find something more even. Alrighty. The goal now is to solder it nice and properly and straight. Now let me solder it from the top here first. Let me solder it from the top. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some flux here. All right. And then we're gonna add some solder right there. All right. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Let's keep it down. Good job. Now let's try not damage anything here on this side. Uh-oh. All right. Good job. And come on. I see a whole bunch of little tiny components that might get damaged, so you don't wanna overdo it. All right, so now let's do the other side. Let's do the other side here. Like that. All right, whole bunch of flux. All right. All right, looks good. Looks excellent. But that's not it, because I still need to solder the top side. In order for me to do so, I need to remove all of the insulation. All right. Now the problem about the top side, you see a whole bunch of little tiny components, and the big soldering iron not gonna fit in there. But you still have to solder it because you see the positive traces, they are on the top side right there, the two middle ones. Not like the most middle one, but here, let me show you. Let me show you. This is a plus and that's a plus. This is a minus and this is minus. Even though you soldered on the bottom, it didn't penetrate through. This is just some flux remaining there. All right. So the goal here is to flux it up. All right. Once it's fluxed up, what you want to do is you want to over up a smaller $1,000 iron, which is not really made for this kind of work. It's mostly made for work like soldering, like this stuff right here, soldering this stuff, like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the smaller iron to go in there and try and add some solder to the legs. All right, like that. All right. You see, you don't want to have those big chunks because it's gonna short something else. So here again. You should understand that the negatives, those parts are much harder to solder because the heat dissipation is extreme. Come on. Ah. All right. And I'm probably due for a new tip. The tip is like $100 or so. Because this iron gets used all the time. Especially now, maybe 5 years ago. Hasn't been used that much. But now everything is so microscopic. All right, so this is not working out the way I was hoping to show you. No, this is definitely not working out the way it's supposed to. This is not how it's supposed to be. Right, let's remove this guy. Because I'm not sure if this is a positive or this is a negative. And in order to remove that, we need to bring a bigger iron, which has already been cooled off. Duh. All right. Is that a ground? That's no, that's still plus. So what I did now, I shorted the jack, which you're not supposed to do. All right. All other components still intact, perfectly intact. I need to get some flux right here. All right, and unshort the connector. All right, good job. Now, the way to solder this thing up is this. Oh. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, almost beautiful, but could be much better here. The pluses are nice. Pluses are really good. Let's see if we can do the same thing to minuses. Come on. Nope, we can't. All right, in this situation, what I'm gonna do is bring a much bigger iron. Exactly. Excellent. Excellent. All right. And as you can see, it was touched on the top. All right. Once we have it on the top, we can usually excellent. 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 Beautiful. All right. All right, guys. If you find anybody else who's gonna go above and beyond working on your laptop, like I'm working on this laptop here, I could tell you right away, don't waste your time. In terms of finding anybody else, you're not gonna find it because again, 20 plus years of doing connectors all day, every day. And the job, you see how beautiful it is. And the Amazon warehouse pays a lot more next door than what you're gonna pay for doing this kind of work here. Beautiful. Here, let me just add some. Yeah. So you see, even without the hot air, it doesn't wanna kick in, but looks good to me. Looks excellent. Well, you know what? Let me power up the soldering iron one more time. What I want to do is I want to remove those little tiny dots. I want to make the pluses a bit more bulby, like that, like that. We're gonna remove this dot and we're gonna remove that dot. All right, looks good. And the minuses looks good. Excellent, beautiful. As you can see, none of the other components flew off the motherboard because there is so much of them, so many of them. Yeah, looks beautiful. Yeah. So now the only thing I left to do is to clean it up. All right. Alrighty. All components are in place. Beautiful. Let's clean it up on the other side too. right. Everything is intact here. Everything is intact right there. Beautiful. Now let's put some Kimtech wipes that absorb all the chemicals. All right. All right, good job. Beautiful, beautiful. I wanna clean up a little bit more right here. Here like that. Yeah, all right. Looks good to me. Let's dry it off. Right, excellent. Right, so I will let it dry and then we're gonna assemble it back together. All right, so checks out just fine. Let's assemble it back together. Well, I'm not sure if my video is gonna be that long. Here, let's see. Like that. All right, so I connected all of the cables here. Now what we do is we connect right, so black, white, gray, blue. Alrighty. Smaller screw goes in right here. All right. Let's connect the Wi-Fi at 30 degrees. No, it's less than 30, it's like 10 degrees there. All right, so like that. All right. And there is a special screw for the Wi-Fi. It's flat head. All right. Like that, like that. Okay, good job. Now let's put, this one was at number 2 right here. There's a cooling pad here on the bottom. Right there, so don't lose that cooling pad. Another cooling pad right here. Yeah, it's even less than 30, probably like 25 degrees, I think, is the angle to insert and remove the SSD chips. All right. Now we have 1, 2 right here. Screw 1. Screw 2. Okay. Another one right here. Those are the smaller screws. They go right here, and one gonna be on top of the. All right, so looks good to me. Looks good to me. All right, so now a good thing is to put a, make sure there's no dust on the. Right, so memory is here. Good job. Good job. Let me clean up the CPU. Not the CPU, the fan for the CPU. Right, so maybe this is going right here. Right, so let's connect the fan. Like that, and like that. All right. Let's clean up the second fan. Excellent. Uh-oh. Oh. Right, we're gonna secure them just in time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Could be. Let's try one more time. Probably a bit too much. But I want the entire glass to be, the entire crystal to be covered with the paste here and here. Alright. The excess we're gonna remove. I mean, the layer is still kind of thick. The paste is nice and fresh. Uh-oh. I see. Okay, so here we need to insert this guy like that. Okay. Here we need to position this guy like, come on, like that, like that. Looks good, looks good. Looks amazing. Just want to double check on this cable here to not be jammed. And I want to check on this cable here. Alright, there's nothing that's jamming it underneath it. Alright, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so here the longest screws secure the fan. Good job. The smaller screws why such a, what would happen? Yeah, like that, right? Why was it in a zoom position? That's the question. Okay, so what I usually do now, I'm trying to sit this guy in place because the silicone pads here, they need to sit in place. All right, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I know for sure those two guys are never gonna overheat because this one doesn't have that liquid metal. I didn't look it up yet. What's the name of it? But anyways, here. All right, so we don't have any more screws left. So what we're gonna do here, on this guy like that. Connect this guy like that. Like that, like that, and like that. Excellent, excellent, good job. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to fit those guys here. Like that. Okay, close down on this. Close down on that. All right. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not shorting the anything with the casing. So now I'm connecting the battery. Right, so battery is in place. Closing down the securing hinge. And I'm gonna position this guy right on top of the whole thing. As you can see, the new connector. Oh, the new connector. All right. The new connector aligns perfectly with the hole. That's what I want to see. Right, that screw, that strange screw goes right here. Right, and all the other screws go all over the perimeter. Are there any other lengths in here? No, seems like they're all the same. So I think I put the wrong screw in here. Yeah, that's the wrong screw. Okay, this one goes right here. This one goes right here. And the one that looks like a strange one goes right here. All right, so now let's take a look how solid the connection will be. And I need to clean up that tape eventually. Inside of it, I need to file it off again. The file is downstairs. Let's just see if it's gonna respond. Oh wow, nice and tight. Right, and we got the light right there. You want to press the power button. We get the unnecessary light bulbs here in your face. All right. So in case you got exactly the same problem, what you can do is you could pack everything up, send it away. Gonna fix it up, send it back your way. Simple as that. I don't have anything on the screen yet. Hopefully it's gonna power up on the screen because it's not gonna show anything. That's gonna be my problem. I think I connected the LED cable just fine. Maybe because it was totally disconnected before, nothing comes up on the screen. All right, we got Republic of Games on the screen. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test it to make sure it's, I don't want to show any client's information here. That might come up. Nothing came up, so it's like a green tree. And right there we show that the battery is charging. Right there, if you zoom in right here on your, you see, it shows it's charging. So if you're gonna disconnect it, it's charging, and then charges back in, you see. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Thanks, bye.